All right, it is time to make a video about the next God of War game. I've been wanting to do this video for a while now, and I just haven't done it because, like, no, I just forgot about it, honestly. But New Game Plus came last week, and it really got me into God of War mood because I've been playing the whole game again. I'm basically like 60% in right now. Now, before obviously I start this video, obviously this is gonna be not huge spoilers, but pretty much spoilers for God of War Ragnarok because it's the game after that. So if you haven't played the game, or if you don't mind spoilers, just know that, right? Just know that. Now, granted, if you watch this video and you play God of War Ragnarok, you pretty much know that just from the sales alone, we are not done with God of War, right? We'll probably not be done with God of War for a long time. However, I was thinking, like, I asked Twitter yesterday, I was just wondering, like, a bit, what is the next God of War game? Like, I'm not talking about the main line or like that, just the next game is gonna come out. Now, there's two options, I think. There's two options. Obviously, we know there's going to be a main huge game later down the road, like 5 years from now, or like 5 years from last year. So, like, by the end of the PS5 gen, like a only God of War PS5 game, right? Like a huge Kratos game. But what will we get before that? Now, we know Santa Monica is doing some sort of new IP, right? And they're probably not started with the next God of War. But I think, honestly, because of the Atreus sections in the game, because how good Atreus gameplay is, wouldn't it be a waste of time not to have Atreus game? Now, I know it's kind of like, it's kind of obvious for some people, but for some it's not. But I also think some people really want that, collection. Now, collection, I honestly don't think we're gonna get. I don't know why, but I just think that, from my point of view, right? I played the whole series last year. Again, I replayed the whole series last year, from the first God of War to 2018. Literally every game platinum. The ones I didn't platinum, I platinum. The ones I had platinum on, I just replayed them before God of War Ragnarok. Granted, for me, because I played the games from the PS2 days, I can play them easily. And I've seen a lot of people who like God of War 2018 before Ragnarok come out. They have played the older games and they like them. But I'm not sure, like, how people would react to them, like they never played the old games. Because keep in mind that's like what, 2005, 2007. Like, will people be able to play just a 60 frames, 4K port of it to the PS5? Which gets me to the next question. I've seen people, remake the first God of War game. But the thing is, like, how would you remake the game in the new style? I mean, guess you can't do it right. You can't do it right. But would it fit? The whole point of 2018 was so different from the older series. Like, so do you want to create that old game in a new format? I mean, you can do it. I would still be excited, but is that necessary? Like, would you rather than to remake God of War 1 and 2, for example? Would you rather want, like, do you want more of the same, or do you want newer things? Because, like, look at Capcom. They're remaking everything, and it works. People love it. But do you want the remake of God of War 1 and 2? Like, I'm not sure about that. I was still excited if they showed it, but I want just a, like, put them on, the current hardware, and that's it. Like 4K 60, huge collection before 2018. Call it like the God of War, saga, whatever. Just call it whatever you want, right? But this gets me to the next point, the Atreus spin-off game. The reason why I think that makes sense is because they've always done it. And Sony is moving toward like that direction. Keep in mind, God of War Ragnarok is a huge game. They basically said that this was like, instead of making 3 games, they made one huge Ragnarok game, 2 games instead of 3, like the God of War trilogy, and that is it for this series. Now, obviously, if you look at God of War series before the trilogy, or like during the trilogy, you had what? You have Chain of Olympus, you have Ghost of Sparta, and you have Ascension. So you have equally, and you have Betrayal, obviously. I'm not gonna forget about Betrayal. But you have like 3 games that are like spin-offs, like, in the middle of the games, or before the first game. And then you have the main games, right? And I do think because Ragnarok was so huge, they're gonna make a smaller type of game. Number one, obviously budget. It's gonna cost way less. Development time is gonna be quick. I'm pretty much sure, like, they're gonna sell 1 million at full price, and they're gonna make all their money back, maybe something like that. So, like, for that to make sense, I think money-wise, sales-wise, you look at Miles Morales. Obviously, Miles Morales is not as big as Spider-Man in sales and stuff like that. Or also, it was $50, but it was huge. It was very good. It was like improved in every way from the first game, right? Like in gameplay and all that stuff. So I do think that, from that point of view, it makes sense. And also, you look at Sony; they didn't do that. Miles Morales was not the first game they did that with. Uncharted Lost Legacy. You got Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then you got God of War, Ragnarok, and then you got God of War, like a God of War saga, God of War, project, God of War, whatever. And then they put the Atreus game in there. That's one thing I think gonna do. And also, I do think, because look how fast they made Miles Morales. What, in 2 years? Look how fast they made Lost Legacy. Like a year and a half. So like we're looking at the potential of next Christmas maybe having a Atreus spin-off game. So like from Santa Monica, like from their output from the PS5, I think it's very possible they put out the Atreus spin-off game next year, new IP, because maybe it's a new team, I'm not sure. And then after the new IP, the last God of War comes out for the PS5 generation, like the true Egyptian game. But that's going to be a whole different conversation. But obviously, I think it's going to be Egyptian because it was basically down to this the Norse saga or the Egyptian saga, right? So like when they made the 2018 choice. So that's pretty much it. And also, I do think like I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what they would do with Atreus. Obviously, it's going to be his story, his path, and all that stuff. But I do think they can tie in the next God of War mainline game into that story. More obviously, right? So, yeah, that's literally what I think is going to happen. And also makes sense. But also, like, for people who don't, there's a section in God of War Ragnarok, obviously, you know what I'm talking about. That section, when you play as Atreus, that's a long section, but his gameplay is very good. I think it's not that you play as Atreus, I think people have a problem with in Ragnarok. It is that old section is too long. Because the other sections, I've not seen many complaints about it, right? It's very good. Like, his gameplay is very fast, it's very good. But it's kind of limited compared to Kratos. It feels like something's there, but something's there for those only the sections. Like you can't play the Atreus right now and run around, which is why if they expanded it, it's gonna be very good. Now in terms of how big it's gonna be, God of War Ragnarok, it takes what, like 25 hours to beat, 80 hours of platinum, something like that on the hard, like a normal difficulty, whatever. You're looking at potential, like, let's say 10-hour game and 25-hour platinum. Maybe or something like that, right? $50. That's not gonna be 17 like God of War. You pay $50. It's shorter. It's obviously not gonna sell as much as Ragnarok, not even close. But you make a spin-off game. You make more games, more content on all that stuff for PS5. I think that's what Sony wants. Like you have these big AAA games, and I do think they have to have this like 50 type of games, $50 games, because like otherwise, like do you want to wait that long? Like imagine, okay, you get the new IP from Santa Monica in 2025 maybe. And then you get a God of War game like a few years after that. Like it's a huge gap between studios, and I think for them to put up more games realistically, and also just for money wise, like I'm not sure how much God of War Ragnarok costs, but probably over $150 million, right, with advertisements. They made that money easily back. But why is it wrong to make a game for like, let's say 1/3 of that price and sell like 1/3 of the sales? Like you still gotta make a lot of money. So like. That's like literally like what it's all about, making money. So like I do think with a smaller budget, it's gonna come out faster, not sell as good, but still be very good. So yeah, I'm very curious. Like, what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see a Trail spin-off game? Do you want to see a collection? Now this is my problem. This is my dream, right? This is like if I had to choose. They ask me like, okay, what would I do? Sometime this year or like next, whatever. The next game they're gonna put out is a collection for like current gen, for like the PS5, right? You put like 4K 60, all 6 games, and you actually even put it up in Betrayal if you beat all the games, right? Something like that. So you haul all the games before God of War 2018, and I know God of War 3 is available on PS4 and PS5 via backwards compatibility, but you just make a PS5 version of it, like with the trophies and everything, or let's just put it in there. So like you make God of War, all the God of War games into a collection. After that, a Treyarch spin-off game, and after that, sometime after that, the next mainline God of War game. That way you have everything on the current gen. Just like you have Uncharted. Like, except obviously Golden Abyss. Uncharted, they didn't port that to PS5, the trilogy, but they're on PS4. You can play them on PS4 or PS5, easily accessible, right? And I think they have to do that with God of War 2. They're just too good game for me, like to skip out on. But I don't think they're gonna do it. Like, this is just me just thinking out loud, right? I don't think it's gonna do it at all. But Treyarch spin-off game, yeah. A Treyarch spin-off game. Now I'm very curious, like, what's that new IP? Because like I've been thinking, right? What if the Atreus game is new IP? There's no space thing, but Corey keeps teasing space. So it's like, And the next God of War is probably at least 4 years out from when they start development. So like, I'm not sure, but 2024, Christmas, holiday, whatever. My prediction is a Treyarch spin-off game, only PS5, no cross-gen. That's my prediction. Please let me know what you think. If you liked the video, obviously like it, everything like that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.